morning rises over the steppes of Mongolia, as it has for thousands of years. At the dawn of the new millennium, the descendants of the great Khan, who constituted the new civilization of the previous millennium, are briskly stepping into the vibrant new world with the freshness of morning frost. Bearing the name of the great Khan of Mongolia, the Chinggis International Group, CIG, is a global business institution operating through 9 groups in multiple business fields. By integrating the capacity and opportunity of these businesses into a well-structured organization, we strive to introduce a modern corporate culture. Our management philosophy is rooted in Chinggis Khan's decimal system, in which one leader manages 9 subordinates to achieve the most effective performance. Our senior management team is composed of individuals who pioneered in numerous business fields since Mongolia transitioned into a market economy in the early 1990s. The ability of networking and broadening contacts, both domestically and worldwide, provide us with enormous opportunities to do business with an impressive host of partners in many sectors of the economy. Since 2009, the Chinggis International Group has been developing the concept of 9 corridors for Eurasian integration, which encompasses the following projects: highway, railroad, overhead power lines, gas pipelines, oil pipelines, aqueducts, airlines, broadband high-speed fiber optic cable, and human and capital flow. Corridor 1, Altenbulag-Ulaanbaatar Zamanud Highway Project. Launched in 2004, the Asian Highway Network will consist of 55 routes over the territories of 32 member countries and cover a total length of 140,000 kilometers. Under the concession agreement with the Ministry of Economic Development of Mongolia, which was signed on the 9th of March 2014. The Chinggis Land Development Group is currently implementing the 1,000-kilometer highway project, a section of 2,648 kilometers AH3 route of the Asian Highway Network, which will be connecting Ulan-Ude through Ulaanbaatar and Beijing to Tianjin. Corridor 2, the high-speed railway project. Since 2011, the Chinggis Land Development Group is conducting the research and development for a 2,000-kilometer high-speed rail project connecting Lake Baikal with Ulaanbaatar and Beijing. With a design speed of 350 kilometers per hour, the railway will primarily serve the needs of business travel and tourism. At present, the railway travel from Ulan-Ude to Beijing via Ulaanbaatar takes approximately 55 hours. This will be reduced to 9 hours within the completion of this project. The project will be closely coordinated with the highway and airport projects. Corridor 3, the overhead power line. The 25-year contract to export 100 billion kilowatt-hours of electrical energy was signed in 2012 pursuant to the China-Russia Intergovernment Agreement. Accordingly, from March 2012, Russia began supplying China with 2.5 billion kilowatt-hours of electrical energy. Per the agreement, Russia, in the long run, intends to increase its exporting capacity to 60 billion kilowatts per hour. In Mongolia, the possibility exists to construct a 1,000-kilometer-long, 600 kilovolt extra high voltage overhead power line with a transmitting capacity of 20 billion kilowatts per hour per annum along the stretch of the Chinggis Land Development Group's Altenbulag-Ulaanbaatar Zamanud Highway. Corridor 4, gas pipeline. Pursuant to its international obligations, environmental and global warming reduction policies for the People's Republic of China, this will consistently reform its fossil fuel consumption by shifting from coal to natural gas and ensuing technological renovation. The increase of China's natural gas consumption, which will reach 600 billion cubic meters in 2025, and is said to increase to 144 billion cubic meters in 2012. The possibility also exists to construct a 1,000-kilometer-long gas pipeline through the territory of Mongolia, undoubtedly a more cost-efficient route. Corridor 5, oil pipeline. In the first quarter of 2012, the People's Republic of China surpassed the United States by petroleum consumption. Consequently, China's dependence on petroleum imports will increase from 6 million barrels per day to 13 million barrels per day. In volume to their net domestic consumption, this figure will increase from 60% to 75%. Constructing a 1,000-kilometer-long oil pipeline through the territory of Mongolia will result in a relatively low-cost transportation corridor and create a viable opportunity to provide competition to the crude oil market in China. Estimates show that the construction of a crude oil pipeline with transmitting capacity of 300,000 to 500,000 barrels per day within the framework of the Step Road project will be the most economically feasible and cost-efficient project to fulfill the petroleum needs in the near future. Corridor 6, Aqueduct. China is a nation facing a pressing freshwater scarcity all over, but the problem is most evident in Beijing. By 2012, the city had consumed 3.6 billion cubic meters of water, exceeding the 2.1 billion cubic meters it has in its reserves in nearby rivers and underground. The objective of our project is to construct a 2,000-kilometer-long pipeline, aqueduct, and auxiliary facilities that will connect the Russian Federation to Beijing via Mongolia. The project aqueduct will supply the drinking water needs of 57.6 million people and the sanitary needs of 19.6 million people per day. Corridor 7, Airway Project. The Airline Development Project by Chinggis Land Development Group consists of 4 core components. The first component is to establish a new ground-based flight navigation system and radar for air traffic control that will be purchased and installed in 10 to 15 various locations in order to increase the control of airspace in Mongolia. The second component is to update passenger and cargo terminals with required logistics centers and other facilities that will be constructed in 4 locations: the Altyn Bulag and Zamanud Free Economic Zones in northern and southern Mongolia, as well as in various regional urban centers in western and eastern Mongolia. The third component is a passenger and cargo air carrier company. The fourth component is to overhaul the Mongolian air transportation legal environment, improving and developing the use of small and medium-sized aviation. Corridor 8, Broadband High-Speed Fiber Optic Cable. The Optic Road for New Development and Data Agglomeration project by Chinggis Land Development Group aims at connecting Mongolia with a transcontinental broadband high-speed fiber optic cable connecting Asia to Europe. This will be done along the Altyn Bulag-Ulaanbaatar-Zamanud Highway. Implementation of the Optic Road for New Development and Data Agglomeration project will enable a rapid access of Mongolia and neighboring countries to modern information and communication technology benefits, including the cloud computing solutions. In addition, the LTE cellular communication network, with the largest scope of users in Mongolia, will be also launched along this AH3 highway. Corridor 9, Human and Capital Flow. Currently, Mongolia receives around 400,000 tourists annually. To promote the development of the tourism industry, the Chinggis Land Development Group is deploying a long-term PPP project which aims to upgrade the visitor receiving capacity. This will increase the types of tourism in Mongolia, developing the infrastructure, upgrading marketing, training service personnel, which will subsequently increase the number of tourists visiting Mongolia to 10 million by 2030. Following the completion of the first phase of the project alone, developing the tourism infrastructure along the highway, Mongolia will gain the capacity to receive tourists throughout the year, and the number of visitors at that time is expected to reach 1.7 million. Since 2009, the Chinggis International Group has been engaged in quality research and development for the 9 corridors, with a view to transform the strip along the 1,000-kilometer route of these projects into a free economic zone that will connect Europe and Asia. In October 2013, the Cabinet meeting deliberated on 5 of the 9 corridors of a Eurasian integration, namely the highway, railway, overhead power line, oil and gas pipelines, and integrated them to the 5 Corridors project, connecting the Russian Federation with the People's Republic of China. The project proposal was then presented to the leaders of the People's Republic of China by the Prime Minister of Mongolia. In May 2014, the 5 Corridors project was updated under a new designation, Steppe Road Project, and was presented to President Vladimir Putin. For the first time in modern history, the heads of state of Mongolia, the Russian Federation, and the People's Republic of China have come together to discuss the initiative by Mr. Sakya Elbigdorj, President of Mongolia, to launch a trilateral summit on Eurasian integration. President Elbigdorj informed his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, of his intention to launch a trilateral Ulaanbaatar talks during President Xi Jinping's state visit to Mongolia on August 21st to 22nd, 2014. The same was introduced to President Putin during his official visit to Mongolia on September 3rd, 2014. Both leaders have enthusiastically embraced the idea and fully supported holding the trilateral talks during the Dushanbe summit. During the Dushanbe summit, President Putin noted, "Parties shall coordinate their development programs by implementing long-term sustainable joint projects in energy, mining, infrastructure, and construction sectors." At the Dushanbe summit, President Xi Jinping also noted the development of strategies of the Russian Federation, People's Republic of China, and Mongolia are in line. RF and Mongolia have supported PRC's Silk Road Initiative. We have an opportunity to establish an economic corridor connecting the Russian Federation, People's Republic of China, and Mongolia by combining the Trans-Eurasian Railway Initiative and the Steppe Road. The concession agreement for the Altan-Bulag-Ulaanbaatar-Zamanud Highway project was signed between the Ministry of Economic Development of Mongolia and the Chinggis Land Development Group, New Development Road, LLC, on the 9th of March 2014. Under this concession agreement, the following concessions have been agreed upon. Number 1, the Altan-Bulag-Ulaanbaatar-Zamanud Highway. 2, highway and roadside facilities. 3, toll collection centers with their state-of-art equipment. 4, border and customs inspection facilities for transit transportation. 5, approved feasibility study and technical design drawings. In accordance with the terms of reference provided by the government of Mongolia, the project team of Chinggis International Group, along with a dozen consulting firms from 6 countries, has developed the project feasibility study between March and October 2014. In accordance with the terms of reference provided by the government of Mongolia, the project team of Chinggis International Group, along with a dozen consulting firms from 6 countries, has developed the project feasibility study between March and October 2014. The feasibility study was approved by the Road Science Sector and Technology Board and was certified by the Intellectual Property Authority of Mongolia. The engineering survey works were completed for the Altan-Bulag-Manet section. Detailed design for the above-mentioned section is under development. The preparation for construction works is currently being carried out. The construction of the entire highway is planned to commence in 2015 and will be completed in 2018. The design of the 2-direction 6-lane Altan-Bulag-Ulaanbaatar-Zamanud Highway will accommodate 5,920 vehicles, or 2,076,000 800 tons of freight per day, amounting to a total over 2.6 million vehicles, 102 tons per annum. The highway will connect the following transportation, logistics, and industrial centers. 1. The Altanbulag Free Economic Zone. Number 2. Darkhan City. Number 3. Ulaanbaatar City. Number 4. New International Airport, Hushig Valley, logistics hub at Hushig Valley. 5. Choyer Mining Logistics Center. 6. Zamanud Economic Zone. Ulaanbaatar Zamanud Highway Project is the first in a series of the step road projects under implementation. It is expected to bear numerous and social economic benefits for Mongolia. 1. During the peak period of the construction works, GDP will reach 34 trillion Mongolian tugriks, and the road construction sector will alone contribute 37% of it. Furthermore, when the project is handed over in 2045, GDP is estimated to reach 167 trillion Mongolian tugriks, where 35% will be contributed by transit transport and related activities. Number 2. Indirect impact will be increased rapidly during the process of the construction works, which will result in a balanced growth in other sectors. By the time of the highway handover in 2045, the direct impact will reach a total up to 64%, contributing to other sectors' growth that will be highly dependent on this highway. One of the most pressing economic problems today is revaluation caused by foreign exchange reverses. An investment of 10.5 billion USD will significantly boost foreign investment, the growth of which it is estimated an average of 25% per annum during the project implementation. Total turnover of foreign trade will reach 46 billion USD by the time of the handover of the project in 2045, 20% of which will be insured by the express highway itself. With the highway becoming operational, volume of trade between Mongolia and Russia and Mongolia and China will reach an amount of over 20 billion USD by 2020. The national budget revenue will reach 37 trillion Mongolian tugriks by 2045, of which the express highway is estimated to contribute 29%. With the highway becoming operational, the budget revenue will receive at a rate of an average of 16% per annum. With the highway becoming operational, the nominal economic growth will be 26% per annum on average, while the real growth will be 19%. Once the express highway starts to generate profit, labor productivity will rise by 3.3% per annum on average. By 2045, 32% of the labor productivity will be created by the express highway turnover.